It depends on what we understand by creativity. If we think about creativity on a large scale, then yes, AI can be creative because sometimes it can pull out some incredible things, and you can be amazed at the paradoxical and absurd inputs that you can receive. However, I don't think that it can be inventive on a narrow sense, because it still has to be maneuvered by a human. And I know that we kind of tend to exaggerate the importance of our abilities, but I believe that the advent of AI will redefine how human inventivity is perceived, because only a smart human can make full use of an AI. And of course, it improves, but I don't believe it will ever be smarter than people. We will always be a step ahead, I think, because our software, so to speak, is more intricate, although limited in some other ways, than what a computer can do, even though it can achieve some miracle things, even as of today. And my opinion is that as it becomes stronger and more advanced, the role of the human will be more important. And I know that might sound strange and optimistic, but this is my point about it. And it's not something akin to Google, that you just search. There are intricate ways in which AI can help you. And if you combine that with the ingenuity of a true and free-spirited human being who's very much aware of the way his mind works and how we manage to create new or find new links between things, it will make the role of the human more important, not on a surface and day-to-day basis in which things can be more or less automated, but we think in terms of deep reasoning. I have the notion that AI is just a very powerful extension of our abilities, an augmented, an augment, yes, an augmented protuberation of our brain, and it will make us differentiate through creativity, which will become more rare. But that's not when it comes to day-to-day things. So yeah, I believe that on a surface level, AI can be creative. You know how they usually say that everyone is creative, and from a certain point of view, this is true. But there are levels to creativity, and not everybody can achieve or can exhibit a higher form of inventivity. And that's when a human brain shines because of our imperfections, which of course are taken into account too by AI. But I believe there is always gonna be some step ahead between our evolution and that of the AI, and that's coming from me, a non-religious person. And I believe that if you are a believer, it's trickier to think about it, because only God is a creator, but we are made in the image of God. So it also can become a moral, an ethical debate. I don't care about it too much. And even if you are a believer, and even if you consider that we are made in the image of God, and so we kind of have the right to create in some ways, then AI can also be useful in this regard, because it is a product of our work, of our creation, and in the same way God created us, then we give birth to this new instrument, which of course can become dangerous, but that's the way it is. Everything has a twofold sides, and we never only advance or only improve. When they invented the internet, it was for the purpose to facilitate the access to information, and they thought people would be smarter, but that wasn't the case. And the most googled thing on the internet is porn, and I'm sure that sooner or later AI will be used to create content relating to sex. And I don't mean this in a poor, in a lascivious way or vulgar way. It can be something more nuanced, but ultimately it will end there because this is our nature, and we are obsessed with sex because it's the way via which we reproduce, and you can also attribute it to some superhuman value, to some superhuman power, if you believe in some mystical source of our universe, which could be true at the end of the day. You never know. Perhaps I'm mistaken for being an atheist. Anyway, and that's how it's going to be. And as I said, people ignore the importance of the human brain now. And even if they are going to perfect AI, then that too will allow our mind to reach new heights. Of course, one can debate that, you know, we are not meant to, but then again, if we can do it, then it means that we should, you know. Of course, that excludes the nature of free will, but I don't believe in it either. So I think that if we have some inclinations, then it means that we are allowed to do it, at least from time to time, or in some exceptional cases. And if we managed to achieve and to create such a brilliant tool, then we should use it and also support its drawbacks, which will show. I don't think people will become more stupid, but they will also not become smarter, because that's the human nature. And there will always be the ones who have an inclination for learning and meditation, and on the other hand, there will be those who enjoy simple pleasures and don't like to think, and that's the majority of the population. And it will be the same until the end of the days, and no human invention will change that, because our instincts are too powerful. They thought that the ability to print books would destroy our culture, but it didn't happen. But they thought of it as a huge uh, step, and a lot of people were against it. So yeah, and in this case, we will also have a lot of debates about its points forte and its bad consequences. which are inherent and unavoidable. But that's how it is. The world moves from one opposite to another. And so we, as a cognitive species, follow the same pattern. Otherwise, this universe cannot exist. And I'm a mystic myself in some ways, although I'm not a Christian, but I have some mysticism in me. You shouldn't judge me as non-spiritual and all that. And you know how some claim that without devil, the world wouldn't exist because we need the opposites. But I am moving the conversation into another topic. So to conclude this, I think that AI can be creative on a low level, but that true inventivity is also a quality that only humans will be able to display. And I also believe that we will have to redefine what we perceive as creativity, because AI will kind of cover the low forms of it, and so few people will be able to stand out and be able to let their voice heard, which is already difficult as of right now, in this day and age during which we have access to a profligacy of information and ways to enrich our knowledge. But that's how it is.